And I was bringing in well over six figures. It was probably close to, a couple $100,000 in business.
Pretty good ROI.
Off of, totally good ROI. TV builds a lot of credibility. And that back in that day, if you were in the phone book, you're pretty credible, right? Because people, when they wanted something, they didn't pick up their phone at that time because they didn't have iPhones or Google or Yahoo or anything.
Talk to me about advertising in the phone book.
Yeah, so when you file an LLC with the state, people can buy that list, right? So I get calls all the time because I file LLCs all the time, right? So I had someone call me and they're like, hey, I noticed you filed this LLC. I can't remember what the name of it was. It was like Sunset Properties or something like that. Have you ever thought about advertising the phone book? And I said, no, I haven't. I don't think I can afford that. Well, it's not as expensive as you would think. Let's meet. So I scheduled a meeting with him and I stood him up. Because I was like, I'm not going to meet with this guy. So he was good at following up. He kept calling me, and I was like, all right, I'll meet with you. So he pulls the phone book out, and he says, I can do this for, I think the first ad was $150 a month. And, I'm a college kid, $150, okay, $150, I'll do it. $150, I can't remember what I did on that. It was like, I don't know, at least 20 to 30 grand worth of business.
Wow.
Right? Commissions, because I was selling real estate at the time. So it was something about buying your house or selling it, that kind of thing. So I'd sell houses, and I think I bought a couple, maybe a property or two or something like that. So then every year he would say, well, why don't you do more? Why don't you do a $300 ad? Why don't you do a $500 ad? So eventually I was spending, I would say, what was it, about $1,000 a month in the phone book? Actually, it was more than that. It was 800 in one, and I want to say 600 in the other, because there were two main phone books. So $1,400 a month. And I was bringing in well over six figures. It was probably close to, a couple $100,000 in business.
Pretty good ROI.
Off of, totally good ROI. So, we're going to talk about TV. So TV builds a lot of credibility. And that back in that day, if you were in the phone book, you're pretty credible, right? Because people, when they wanted something, they didn't pick up their phone at that time because they didn't have iPhones or Google or Yahoo or anything. Well, they did have that, but it was very beginning.
Yeah.
And so you pulled out the phone book, especially older crowd. Like, I bet you there's still older people that try and pull out. I don't even know if the phone book's in circulation. I know it was a couple years ago.
Yeah, I think our avatar is probably someone that will still use a phone book.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting. So when did you stop using the phone book, or when did the ROI go away?
It started fading off. We were talking about this earlier. I can't remember what it was. I want to say like probably 2010, somewhere in that range. I'm
just curious only because I remember, Dan Kennedy, someone that I follow a lot. He's a direct response genius, copywriting genius, and so on. He's like, you got to advertise in the phone book. And I was like, oh, that's something I'll do one day. But I just never got around to doing it. So that's why I'm just curious, because, when was the time that I was considering it.